When a woman won't allow black soldiers to sit in first class, he hands her an astonishing note. David confronted the woman with a controlled air and held his ground, fiddling with the strap of his carry-on bag over his shoulder. Her features were etched with incredulity as her gaze flicked between David and his boarding card. Welcome to USA Stories Channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. A soldier in first class like you? I'm sure you're mistaken, she remarked in a patronizing tone. David gave a little smile, not because he was amused, but more in an effort to be polite under her critical eyes. Ma'am, as a thank you for my service, the airline upgraded me. Verify your ticket, please. Maybe there was a miscommunication, he said in a courteous manner. But the woman dismissed it with a contemptuous shake of her head, drawing her fancy bag closer to her side as though to make a statement about her own social standing. Months ago, I reserved this chair, she shot back, her voice loud enough to turn a few heads. There's no way they'd just give it away to anyone. A senior couple in the next seat looked at David sympathetically, whispering to one another. The man leaned a little closer and gave an encouraging nod. Thank you for your service, son, he said loudly, his words genuine in a way that was a stark contrast to the woman's cold attitude. This encouraging response gave David greater confidence to say, I assure you, ma'am, there is no error. I have the same right as everybody else to spend as much time here. As more individuals became aware of the situation, the anxiety appeared to spread across the first-class cabin, creating an environment that was both uncomfortable and full of eagerness for a resolution. Sensing an argument was about to break out, the flight attendant stepped forward and smiled calmly. With a friendly yet professional tone, she questioned, "Is there a problem here?" as her eyes immediately assessed the circumstances. David nodded respectfully and gave the flight attendant his boarding ticket. I think there was some misunderstanding regarding seating, he clarified, maintaining his composure in the face of increasing strain. After looking over the pass, the flight attendant spoke to the woman in a strong yet kind manner. This person is seated in the appropriate spot, ma'am. Please take a seat as well so that we can get ready to take off. There was a subtle murmur of agreement as the woman hesitantly stepped aside, with most of the other passengers obviously supporting David. David took a seat, his turbulent feelings being steadily accompanied by the gentle hum of the airplane's engines. He was still uncomfortable from the encounter, but he was taught to deal with much more than verbal sparring as a soldier. He produced the little notepad he kept with him at all times, a habit developed over years of wanting to scribble down instructions and ideas. With a calm hand, he started composing a letter to the woman, making sure every word he wrote would clear up any miscommunication that had developed between them. A perceptive young mother sat across the aisle, watching David write. See, that's how you handle problems, with patience, she said to her daughter. Her daughter nodded, soaking in the lesson after she had earlier been looking at the spectacle with wide eyes. David wrote about growing up in a multicultural neighborhood, his choice to enlist in the military, and the lessons he learned there about acceptance and cohesion amidst differences. He talked in his writings about the locations he had seen and the people he had met, all of whom were different but had the same goals of respect, peace, and a better life for their families. He asked for mutual respect and understanding as he concluded the message. With a little request, he gave the neatly folded paper to a flight attendant who was passing by. Would you kindly hand this to the woman seated in front? It's crucial. The attendant nodded, understanding the sincerity and seriousness of the gesture. The woman a few rows forward seemed bewildered when she saw the note. Her interest sparked as she unfolded the paper, causing her hands to shake a little. Her demeanor changed from defensive to contemplative as she read. David described a life devoted to service, one that was not all that unlike from everyone else's in terms of its aspirations and difficulties. She landed and watched as passengers filed by, standing near the gate. She hesitated before moving forward to meet David. Kindly, Mr. Miller. She faltered, meeting his gaze for the first time with true candor. I read your note, she said. I sincerely apologize for my actions. I appreciate you reminding me that we are all simply individuals trying to make ends meet. David gave her a nod of recognition, his stance casual yet respectful. His tone was soothing and collected as he continued, "Thank you for your apology. It means a lot that you took the time to reconsider your views." A few remaining passengers noticed them shake hands, a simple yet meaningful gesture that was met with subdued grins of appreciation. Though fleeting, the moment was meaningful because it signaled the woman's personal metamorphosis and gave David confidence that compassion and patience might in fact result in understanding and change. David experienced a release of tension as they said their goodbyes. With a fresh feeling of optimism, he headed toward the airport exit, not just for himself but also for the potential for reconciliation in his daily interactions. Even though his message was intended to address only one instance of discrimination, it ended up affecting many lives and maybe even altering one. Even though it was unexpected, this event strengthened his faith in the efficacy of communication and the goodness of people, a lesson he would remember long after the airplane had landed. We can learn a great deal about the need of empathy, communication, and understanding in handling and resolving issues from the tale of David and the woman on the aircraft. David's intelligent response to discrimination, rather than his outburst of rage, shows how decency and communication can turn potentially polarizing circumstances into chances for development and healing. This strategy not only altered the woman's viewpoint, but also had a favorable effect on other travelers who saw the interaction. The moral of the tale is that although we have no control over what other people do, we do have power over how we react to them. By doing this, we can encourage more respect and tolerance among people in our communities. It serves as a reminder that every contact has the potential to either widen gaps in our knowledge of one another or to strengthen them. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.